Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I am back with another replay between, let's see, a member of the oGL clan, in the lower left-hand corner. The map is Derelict Watcher TE Tournament Edition, if not Test Edition, I imagine is what it stands for. His name is oGL Jorden. And the uploader in the upper right-hand corner, spawning as our Protoss in the red trunks, his name is EternityYosh. And Yosh, he's always bringing me good quality replays, but for the moment, I would like to just bring to everyone's attention that I feel casted is a bit of an underexplored Reddit or subreddit. I don't mind casting, you know, I mean, once you what's the word I'm looking for? Once one explores the overall distribution of ranks throughout SC2, aside from Bronze and Silver, the most filled league in all of StarCraft 2 is Diamond League. And the one thing that I must highlight is that I'm sure there's a lot of interesting games between Diamond players and, you know, Masters League players or even higher Diamond players or even whoever. But the thing is, it's just, I feel this is a completely underexplored Reddit. Okay, so it looks like their names got put into the game a little bit backwards. So here we go, hit Control X, problems fixed. Just like that. No more optical illusions for me today. It looks like Jorden is still waiting to see if he should throw down a pool or if he's just going to do a double hatch opener. It looks like he's going to try the double hatch. He's already sending out the drone. Ooh, kind of tricked up the probe. And I want to say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with this as a Zerg player, because then you're just, you know, you're making a decision. And it was a very viable decision. He didn't go ahead and, you know, I'm trying to look for the word. He didn't try and commit himself to actually doing the 15 hatch. If he had done that and he'd received the pylon block, it could have been big, but I mean, he adequately benchmarked the situation he was in, and that's just what he did. I know he's not afraid of, say, a cannon follow-up, or not a cannon follow-up, but a cannon rushing, but it's just the fact that if someone is gearing up to go ahead and throw down a hatchery and it gets blocked by a pylon, it throws a wrench into their security field, if that makes sense. Just the way they feel towards the rest of the game that they're going to be playing. Now, EternityYosh did send his probe in here, and it did see the extractor, so he is perhaps expecting to encounter a speedling follow-up. And this is, I want to say, a very brave opener, not the most standard. Typically what happens is, with a lot of Protosses, we see at least a Gateway, a Cybernetics Core, and one gas before the Nexus goes down. Again, this is a very brave opener from Yosh. If he can hold it, that's going to be a lot of financial gains for him in the near future. And it puts his economy on par with our Zerg. Zerg has not yet taken a third, so this is leading me to believe that perhaps we're going to see a Ling Muta focused composition. But just as I say that, he's going to go ahead and throw down his third. Sorry about that. I did not see what was going on in the lower left-hand corner on the minimap. And see, this is a beautiful thing about this overlay. It's not overlay. This SC2 interface. It will actually, what's the word I'm looking for? I did just wake up. The overlay, the interface itself, is actually a little bit better than the standard one. Hell, it's a lot better than the standard one, a lot of people would say, simply due to the fact that you get more vision of the screen around you and so on and so forth. But one thing that I like about this one is, in my opinion, it seems that the minimap here is a little bit bigger than it normally would be. Just looking for time fillers, guys. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's like 8:30 in the morning where I am. Alright, and it looks like we're getting 2 Zealots and a single Stalker are getting kind of cranked out here. These 2 Zealots are kind of following the Overlord around, and there's only one Gateway. So I'm thinking that perhaps we could see a Stargate follow-up, but what's deterring me from believing that presently would be the fact that we have Protoss ground weapons level 1 in research right now, and that is very early +1 that we see. Roach Warren going down now, so this is going to be reminiscent of the classic Wings of Liberty opener. I think we're going to see a Hydra follow-up from our Zerg as well, and now we see that Yosh is actually tacking on more gateways. By the way, guys, I am the WCG's English caster. If you guys would like to tune into that, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button. I will have my Facebook posted here. My Facebook fan page, that is, if you will. Along with my personal Twitch channel and my Weibo and all that good stuff. But hold that thought. We do have EternityYosh moving out right now. And I just want to highlight for a moment, it's a little dangerous that we see a Stalker in presently, because it's separated from the rest of his Zealots, which are supposed to act as tanks and bodyguards for it, just, you know, hacking away at the little puppies. But this is going to force units from Jorden right now, and we're seeing that in the form of 5 roaches and 6 lings. Maybe he is perhaps, I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say he's overcommitting. That's certainly not the case, because three roaches would be more than enough to handle that, but there's a pylon going down right outside of creep range here. And if there is even a single warpin of units here, it could do a lot of damage. But I think for the time being, we're going to see Jorden find a way to hold this if he can get another Overlord out. He needs to realize that he is supply blocked right now. That pylon gets cancelled. And we have more Zealots joining the fray over here. And some more Stalkers over here. Behind this, we see that Yosh is still making probes. So this tells me that since he's more than saturated on his main and his natural, he's going to be taking a third very soon. Alright, Robotics Bay also going down behind this. He's ready in case this entire attack fails. But I don't think it will, simply due to the fact that Jorden had himself supply blocked for a short period of time. And, well, I don't know. It's just going to come down to this engagement. There are no force fields here. So right now, Jorden has to look into this, and he's thinking to himself, okay, well, why is my opponent not using sentries? But it looks like we have Yosh trying to go for, you know, long-term damage. Perhaps he will get the third. We don't know yet. But for now, his Stalkers are all focusing down the third, and that's a little bit dangerous. He's almost got enough energy for a recall in case he should need to use it. We have 7 more roaches on the way, but whoa, buddy. He forgot about these ones at the natural. These ones are so important. He's got 9 more roaches on the way. If we see this small Protoss force get the third, it would be so huge for Jorden. Right now, the supply difference is 91 to 80, and it looks like he's going to get it. There's not enough energy for a recall just yet. We have to see these Stalkers we have to see the roaches keep the Stalkers from getting back home, and conversely, we have to see Yosh try and get his Stalkers back home ASAP. It looks like he's going to be able to do that with a few losses. 6 Stalkers will survive. 2 of them with their shields taken down. And now we have a drone, I guess, getting pulled by accident. This is going to result in immediate retaliation from Jorden. He's also getting glial reconstitution. He knew he was going to lose that third at a certain stage, and he just knew that he was going to have to basically make something happen in terms of damage. He should have perhaps maybe started spreading creep here. That would have definitely delayed the third a little bit more. The natural, the main, oversaturated, and it looks like the roaches are cutting off the Stalkers, keeping them from getting home, but it's okay. Yosh had a recall, and he just used it to get back home at the natural. Meanwhile, the Robo Bay is cranking out Immortals. The first one's already out. And we do have a Robotics Bay down here and Void Rays in production as well. Perfectly ordinary follow-up, but if we want to see this actually fully work in favor of Jorden, he's going to have to eventually transition into Hydras and then get some Queens out. He's going to be doing some okay damage here, I think, but he's also showing that he's willing to commit to this Roach Tech just a little bit more. Oh, man, that Immortal is still alive. Oh, but I wanted to say for maybe just a minute, those roaches could have handled all that force before the Zealots showed up. If he could get that third, it would be huge. But for the time being, it looks like he's got to back off. This Overseer can see that there's a Stargate here, and a Void Ray is complete. And with that, we're going to see essentially what Jorden is doing here. Shut down. He's retaking his third right now. It's actually about to finish up. And we see a stream of roaches coming across the map, but, you know, roaches can't shoot up. And as long as they can't shoot up, we're going to see the Void Ray numbers continue to increase. Void Rays and Immortals put together are really going to put on a lot of hurt to this Roach composition. Look at that. That Void Ray already with 2 kills. Of course, Prismatic Alignment going down on it. It looks like the damage on it is going to really tear away at these Roaches. Force Field's going down, and this is by no means a clean game, ladies and gentlemen. StarCraft 2 is one of the messiest ones you can get on the planet. Roaches targeting down the Immortals. Looks like the roaches are gonna go to town on these sentries as well. And there's another Void Ray joining the fray yet again. And now the roaches are trying to work their way into the natural mineral line. Nothing wrong with that, but they're not getting any probe kills. They just got 1 or 2 simply from blinking, or not blinking, but clicking on it. He managed to get a total of 9 worker kills, actually. Kind of big. I think that was actually from earlier when he first started assaulting the 3rd. Meanwhile, all the probes got pulled and put on the 3rd, but, you know, some of them got split and put back. If we see all the probes go from the main to the natural, we might see even saturation. No, we could even see even saturation if he pulled all of them and... Well, I don't know. Forget about it. The thing is, the workers need to be spread out more. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so here we go. Jordan's still trying to put on the hurt. What he doesn't realize is that he's overcommitting right now. If you just check the army supply right now, that is 32 to 30. And it's not going to result in even trades. Look at the economic losses thus far. He's actually killing a lot of expensive units on the ground, but the Void Rays are what's really going to, you know, make the cake for EternityYosh. Meanwhile, he's spreading creep like a madman back home. I just never would have expected this kind of follow-up. Behind this, we do have Groove Spines going down. So I really like Jorden doing this. He's kind of keeping his opponent at home and at the same time teching up. My curiosity is, does he have muscular augmentations? He does not, so that means the Hydras are going to move slow off creep. As long as he can spread creep very well in the next few minutes, he will be okay. But of course, at this stage in the game, typically we see players like Kyun with, creep spread as far as here already. Now, Roaches did apparently pick up on a proxy pylon, and that's a clever position to put it. Just, some parts of the minimap block it. I know we have some Zealots joining the main composition, and Colossi are now finally being integrated since the Roach threat is over and done with. We need to see, essentially, Jorden Expo behind this again. Checking the worker count, he's actually a little bit low. As Zerg, you never want to let your opponent have more workers than you do. That's always dangerous. But the one thing that is working in his favor is the fact that his main is going dry. So while, yes, the income is slightly higher, it's not going to be that, well, okay, it's not slightly higher, but it's going to be going dry pretty soon. His Protoss opponent is going to be worn down to essentially 2 base income, but he will be in the same position relatively soon. Okay. Now we do have Yosh moving out, aiming to do some damage with this. Still a relatively small Protoss force, if you will, but now, there's a Colossus in the mix. The only thing that's working for Jorden right now is the fact that his opponent doesn't have extended thermal lance. That will change in the near future. Lots of Lings, lots of Hydras getting put together. The 4th base going down now for for Jorden. Yosh behind this, oversaturated at the 3rd, natural, main, taking his 4th as well. The question is, are we going to see Jorden, maybe possibly look into this, possibly think to himself, well, I had my opponent contained for a while, sort of. So what's he doing to make up for this? Meanwhile, a good chunk of probes do get pulled from the main, and they're getting put on the 4th. And it looks like presently they may possibly be stuck distance mining. Yes, their rally has not been corrected. It's going to cost a little bit more mining time, but 5 probes, small mistake. That just means an extra 200 minerals per minute. Creep tumors, spread's pretty okay, but it looks more like a defensive spread in my opinion. We do have a hallucinated Phoenix going out, and now a big engagement in the middle. Immortals are going to fall very quickly versus this many Hydras. I mean, basically, they're essentially unstimmed Marines versus Immortals. Yes. I just wish this ESL overlay would tell me how much damage an Immortal does with its attack. The little action here in the lower left-hand corner had me a little confused. I thought perhaps there was a Warp Prism run by going by. And both players just continuing to tack up what they have now. But the biggest problem is EternityYosh has now broken down the rocks that are separating him from his opponent's 4th. He's not directly moving into it. The Overlord caught on to that. I want to say, you know, the Colossi count is dangerously high here. We're going to see some defensive force fields. I'm pretty sure of it. Roaches and Hydras going together. I want to say that Queens could also be pulled, but transfusing Hydras not quite the best idea. EternityYosh getting just a little bit greedy. Just a teeny bit. And he's going to take down his opponent's 4th base. That's really going to hinder the income of Jorden. Jorden should have triple expanded, in my opinion, earlier, instead of just perhaps double expanding. Now we have real Phoenixes being integrated into the unit composition here. And now EternityYosh not quite finding a favorable engagement. Oh! He attacks. And it looks like he doesn't quite destroy anything. I mean, he got... Well, he decreased the shields on some of his opponent's units, but that's about it. But the biggest thing that we should see Jorden doing right now is opting for a little more map control. The Overlord spread now is not the best. I forget what the oGL clan stands for. Is it On Game Live, perhaps? Maybe. But anywho, huge engagement right here, and the force fields are not that good. We're going to see EternityYosh lose a good chunk of units here, I think. Yes, he just did a moment ago. They were mostly gateway units. He was not properly microing them. All the Void Rays fall, the Mothership Core falls, and now we're going to see the Phoenixes fall, perhaps. They are picking up what they can, as best they can. And now we see both players kind of breaking away. I want to say that presently the only hinder to Jorden right now is the fact that he doesn't have all of his army together, for starters, and secondly, his income is actually half that of his opponent's, which is to be expected since he's on 2 base income now. He does have a single mineral patch left in the main, but... oh boy. And this I like from Yosh. He's actually just taking a Nexus here to increase his gas income, and that is it. Now we do have +3/+3 going down for our Zerg. He needs to get the late game units into the composition. We're talking Vipers, maybe Infestors. But this, oh my god, this is... oh man, I'm not sure if this is a taunt or if this is a legit play, but we have carriers being thrown into the mix right now. Once these hit the battlefield, we're going to see essentially our Zerg in a position where he may just be totally boned. And DT's coming down here, getting a lot of drone kills. 6 already. This 4th base is going to fall again. And it looks like Jordan's just like, okay, well, now I have to attack. But behind this, he's also got to be thinking to himself, what the hell is my opponent doing? He's only got so many units. If he moves in right now, perhaps he could put a stop to all those carriers, but because the carriers are going to actually have to stop and build interceptors. Roaches, Hydra's trying to get in here. The question is, will they be able to? Colossi being able to snipe back here without any trouble. What's falling? That's the real question. We actually have the Colossi about to fall. A bunch of units warping in. The Hydras are putting an end to a good deal of them before they have the chance to finish, and now they're all DTs! So that is going to make the entire unit composition here fall apart. So now Jorden is on limited income. He's on 1 base income now, effectively speaking. He didn't integrate Overseers with his composition. He's now doing that, but he just lost all of his Hydras. And Hydras are extremely expensive, guys. What it takes to make in Roaches, you have to have... When you're trying to do a 3-base Roach all-in, you have to have a... You have to have like 5 bases to make something like that work with Hydras. Okay, now it looks like the Roaches and the Hydras here are going to be able to take down a good deal of probes. Yes, they're actually clearing up supply for Yosh right now, I feel, more than anything else. They're not quite so much doing so much damage. And now there's just so many Roaches, so many Hydras here that we just see... Well, so many Zealots here, effectively speaking, that there's almost no need to micro these Zealots. Do they have charge is the real question. They don't. This far into the game, they don't. Oh boy. Sentry's warping in ahead of them, and now I hope we can see Jorden become aware of what is happening here. The DT and a few Zealots waiting here for the 4th base to go back down, and now... oh boy. Expression of his anger. He says, I can't believe I lost to someone like you. Yes. And now here we go. This is going to be the... basically the final engagement. Okay, give it a shot. He says your micro is horrid. Yeah, but Protoss units are expensive, bro. Anywho. There it is. He just leaves the game. This has been Breaker, guys. I will see you next time.